Hello, my name is Dominic Marchese, and today I'm going to be discussing discouraging sexual harassment in the workplace. There is no place for sexual harassment in the workplace. According to the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, 85% of victims who have experienced sexual harassment in the workplace have never filed formal charges, whereas over 70% have never even reported the incident internally. It is my hope that through this presentation, you will understand what sexual harassment is in the workplace, what it looks like, the immense consequences that come with it, and how we can all help those affected have a voice. To begin, sexual harassment in the workplace is generally defined and split into two subcategories. First being quid pro quo, which is Latin for this or that, and the second being a hostile work environment. This is also according to the National Academy of Sciences. Both are forms of sexual harassment. Quid pro quo specifically, while not punishable by law, it is a form of discrimination. And while convictions are rare for quid pro quo cases, there have been instances in the past of convictions, whereas hostile work environment is increasingly less common and very rare to get any kind of legal punishment out of that. And I will explain why in just a second. This is according to Andrea Kessler of the Sexuality and Culture Journal. Before I get into definitions, it's important to understand that both of these definitions that I just gave you are generally accepted by academics and courts within the United States, as well as the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. To begin with quid pro quo, this is also according to Andrea Kessler of the Sexuality and Culture Journal. Quid pro quo involves two parties typically, normally between subordinate and boss. Boss will typically, as an example, would offer something in exchange for a sexual favor. This could be a promotion, a pay bump, anything of that nature, or to avoid a decrease in pay or a demotion. It would basically be this in exchange for a sexual favor. While this isn't super common anymore, it used to be much more common. It is still common in large corporations where the boss holds a lot more power, and in underdeveloped countries where the position of power and the potential benefits become more important and intensified as well. Now, hostile environment is the most common form of sexual harassment in the workplace. This is also according to the National Academy of Sciences. This type of harassment is the most common because it can happen, it doesn't necessarily have to be an exchange. It can happen just in a casual conversation. It's common that it's not even intentional in some cases, but in most cases, it most definitely is. This can be a crude joke or remark regarding appearance, an objectifying comment or joke or remark, sexual advances, sexual jokes, and harassment, and anything else like that nature. Now, to get into the effects of sexual harassment in the workplace, to be blunt, they are immense and they are severe. This is according to Che Feldblum of the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. As I said, over 70% have ever even failed to report it internally, and this is because out of fear of retaliation from the boss. Whereas some of the symptoms of sexual harassment in the workplace, according to Francisco Diaz-Canseco of the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health, who says some of the symptoms are anxiety, anger, stress, humiliation, loss of confidence, personal and professional dissatisfaction, and above all, a deterioration in interpersonal relationships, especially in colleagues. Now, these are severe consequences, and they can result from all forms of sexual harassment, not just specifically quid pro quo or specifically a hostile work environment. There are physical symptoms as well. This includes severe headaches, insomnia, weight loss, loss of appetite, and other things of that nature as well. On a more extreme side, according to Elise Shaw of the National Law Center for Women, it is not uncommon for victims to eventually be diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. In fact, 1 in 10 women who have reported and experienced sexual harassment in the workplace have been diagnosed with PTSD. Given all of this information regarding definitions of sexual harassment in the workplace and the severe effects, I personally have come up with a solution that I believe would help to decrease the number of cases reported each year. It would first start with an anonymous survey and it would be required but also readily available if needed at another time. The employee would have the option, of course, to remain anonymous and fill the survey or form out, reporting any sort of sexual harassment that had happened to them since the last time they filled out the survey, or if it just happened, they can go and fill out the survey if it's readily available to them. So this has obviously been tried before in companies. And the second part that I would put along with it is that it would be legally required that companies submit these reports to a local agency. The local agency would work with the company and conduct an investigation if the claim is substantial, and then obviously work on a punishment for the guilty parties involved. This would also help to remove the secrecy of sexual harassment to avoid scandals and things like that. Even if their names are remaining anonymous, this will be public information and they would be required to report this. This would also help increase accountability in organizations, as they would put more of an emphasis and priority on training, required training, seminars, and things like that. The last thing about this idea is protection. Obviously, victims will fear retaliation from bosses, and there has to be some kind of protocol, whether it be a waiver or things like that, put in place to ensure the protection of those reporting. Whether it is quid pro quo or hostile work environment, the effects remain the same: decreased motivation and productivity, company turmoil, turnover, peer resentment, side effects, and severe psychological consequences. If companies continue to implement policies regarding this, including training and things of this nature, and specifically some of my ideas that I've put in as well, it is my hope that sexual harassment cases will continue to go down year by year. And although the voice of the survivor has never been heard louder, there is still lots of work to be done. Thank you very much.